Time to get to the business news now with Nicholas Poynton. Nicholas, strong New Zealand dollar. Apparently, you're telling me it's no longer exporters' biggest concern. So what is?
I was going to give you a guess what it might be. But it's, look, we had this new report come out from the export sector, and it shows that expensive and limited transport options are now...
freight.
Exactly. The number one problem the industry now faces. 2/3 of respondents are saying that. We also have about a third of exporters reporting a drop in orders for the year to date. That's up from 15% with the same time last year. And remember, when it comes to this big freight issue, one of the big real drivers of this is international travel, or the lack thereof it, because when I first learned this a couple months ago, it came as a surprise, but most of the cargo coming into this country comes in the belly of passenger planes, and with less and less of that, it's going to cost more and more to get goods on those planes. And as many exporters look to other avenues to get their goods overseas, they're looking to shipping. That's really driving the demand we're seeing there. And I think the fact that exporters are now saying that this is the most significant problem they're facing at a time when our dollar is buying 70 US cents, I think, not to beat this up too much, but I think that really speaks to the significance or how pertinent of an issue this is for our exporters. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. There were some bright spots in this report. With many respondents saying that the shock from COVID hasn't been as first feared, and many respondents are now saying that they've adopted more technology to help improve their businesses in response to this new economic environment that we find ourselves in.
Okay, well, so a handful of economic numbers have got a bit of a rosy picture for some businesses. Yeah,
well, look, we had a pair of reports out from the cloud accounting firm Xero. They heavily skew to small businesses, and from the ANZ Bank. Beginning with Xero, what they show us is that while, yes, revenue growth for small businesses over the month was flat, interestingly, and perhaps more importantly for our economic growth, firms were looking to hire more, with the number of jobs in small businesses ticking up by 1.5% over the month, except for hospitality. That continues to be a bit of a sore spot. It's not just economic uncertainty there. Also, we've had reports that some hospitality businesses are actually struggling to get workers struggling to find workers, chefs, people. A lot of that's filled by international tourists, things like that. But also, we had ANZ, their monthly survey of business confidence, and there were some positive signs here. For one, headline confidence was at its highest level since 2017. So that's at a net negative 7%, which is quite funny because it means that a 3-year high is still negative, but I'm told that's because headline sentiment, that measure, is quite a political one. So when we did have the change in government, that's where we saw a bit of a downturn there. But more importantly, though, and this is what I'm told is the measure that is always the one to really pay attention to, is how firms are feeling about their own future. And we've seen continued growth over the month of November. We now have a net 9% of firms saying that they expect to be better off in the next year. And look, the most positive sector there is construction and agriculture. The most pessimistic, they've been facing a perfect storm, as ANZ's chief economist put it to me, not just with labour shortages, but also those costs in getting their goods overseas. So look, all in all, it's quite a positive result. These two reports combined, just further evidence that the rebound we've had from the lockdown has been better than expected. Interestingly, Sharon Zollner from ANZ says the case for further stimulus from both the RBNZ and the government, that case is beginning to soften as it appears that our economy and our businesses are now beginning to stand on their own 2 feet.
Nicholas, I note something that looks vaguely like chicken scrawl on your notepad. That must be the numbers from today.
NZX,
do enlighten me.
It is up 1% or 129 points to 12,768. Our dollar, as I mentioned, is buying 70 US cents, 95 Australian and 52.7 British pence.
52.7? Wow,
our
that
dollar
is strong.
Going gangbusters.
Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas Poynton with our business update there.